Hey y'all, I'm here. I'm ready, and I hope you are. Of course, I'm going to give y'all some time to come up and through the building. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. I had to just finish fighting with my husband, honey, because he be trying to get me together. He gets me part way together, but not all the way together. And I want to be all the way together.
Because you're evil.
I love you too, booby.
It's evil in your spirit.
I'm not evil. Come on through, y'all. Come on through. I'm here. I'm waiting on y'all to come through. Y'all know I don't wait all day. I don't. I'll give it some time and then when we start, y'all know how I do. I'm impatient. I want when I want it. I'm ready. And I hope you are. Good afternoon to everybody on Facebook, on all the Facebook pages. Good afternoon to everybody on YouTube. Matter of fact, let me go in here and see who's already with me, if anybody. Somebody left a comment yesterday on our video from Sunday. Hey Trisha, hey Christine, hey Tyrone and Famous, hey Alita, hey Melissa. Somebody left a comment yesterday, and it was a good comment because I could see it when they sent me the email. But for whatever reason, what they wrote, I guess YouTube found it offensive, and they took away the comment. So I just want to let that person know that me and Tramel didn't delete your comment. YouTube deleted it, but I saw what you commented, and it was very powerful what you said. I think YouTube found it offensive because of some of the wording you used. Because when I went to like reply to it, it was gone. So maybe you deleted it after you wrote it because you was trying to vent. I could tell from the comment you were trying to vent. So maybe you deleted it, and I'm blaming YouTube. But if you didn't delete it, then it was YouTube because they just didn't like the wording that you used. Because honestly, if me and Tramel, if I delete a comment, because normally I'm the one that answers and replies, it's just because it was, something that was going to make me read somebody. So the less I see it, the less I tend to want to reply. All right, y'all, I'm about to come on. You need to fix that. Sound like TV. Hey, y'all. Hey. I got on my birthday present again. I was trying to find something cute, and this was it. So I said, okay, let me do this again. Let me do this again. I don't mind. Because Sunday was my first time wearing it. And now today is my second time, so you won't see it for a minute. Because I've worn it like almost back to back. Why am I getting that little whistle? Okay. What's popping, y'all? Good afternoon. Y'all like my background? Courtesy of my husband. He caught me off guard with that big smiling picture when he took that. Because y'all know I don't smile at pictures. He caught me completely off guard with that one. Yes, I woke up late, so I said, let me come on a little later because I didn't feel like waking up and just getting boom in front of the camera. So that's why y'all getting an afternoon show. That's why y'all are getting afternoon show. A lot of people are telling us they're not getting the alerts when we go live. Um, I'm sure it's a YouTube problem because a lot of people are telling us they're not getting the alert. So, you know, it is what it it is what it is. So, y'all, let's talk about Sunday's episode of Pose. Because I thought Tremont was going to do it yesterday, but he didn't come on yesterday. So, let's talk about. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Christine. Let's talk about Sunday's episode of Pose for those of you that saw it.
Speak.
It was really good. It was really good for a lot of reasons. It was really good because Lil Poppy learned he had a son. So we learned that Little Poppy had a straight life before he started living on the pier, which a lot of people probably didn't think that or know that until Sunday. That he, was dating girls, real women, cis women. And then he met Angel and fell in love with Angel. Because I guess he was always, I'm gonna have to say, bisexual. And when he started hanging on the pier and walking balls and stuff like that, he decided that's the life he wanted to live. That was powerful because I'm sure there's a lot of men out there that don't know they have kids for whatever reason. And what made it even more powerful was Angel. She decided that, I can't marry you if you have a child. I don't want to be somebody's mother. Now, for me, I would think that would be like the perfect setup because you have a family, you're a mom, you have a child, you have a husband, you are living the American dream that a lot of girls dream that they could have, and it just happened upon you like that. But she's like, no, I ain't being nobody's mother. That could be scary to be somebody's mother because you barely can take care of yourself. And she's a recovering addict, like she said. So now all of a sudden, boom, a little 5-year old comes into the mix and I got to be this child's mother. So I get it. Now I want to know the time span of this because was it at the time where we could get married or was it before the time we could get married? Because that means they did a big jump from last season. Now I know they did a jump, but I didn't think they did a jump that far ahead. Because marriage equality only came about, I want to say in 2015, 2015, 20, no, not 2016.
They're going to address it on the next episode.
No, it had to be, no, it was before that. Because my mom hadn't passed away yet. She passed away in 2010. So it was legal then. So, well, it was legal in some states then. So,
they're going to address that on the next show.
Right, because I saw when they went to get the marriage license. So I'm just curious as to how far ahead they jumped. I liked it. The I love Pose because a lot of it makes me relive some of my life back then, and then some of the other stuff is like I mean, Electra is playing somebody that I know. A lot of the stories on there are true, like we said before. So it's just amazing because I've known people that live these type of lives. I've seen people live these type of lives, and it's just amazing to see them played out on TV because a lot of people that don't know think like a lot of this stuff is made up. But those of us that do know that these things really happen, and a lot of them did do. I mean, now like some of the house scenes where they're all loving and caring, and I've never been in a house that was like that. I'm not gonna lie, I've never been. I mean, even when I was the father of a house, I would let my kids come, and if they wanted to eat or they text me and say they didn't have money or they couldn't eat, I made sure, like a father, they had what they needed. But I guess it just depends on what house you're in. When I was the house father, I did what a father should do. Um, you know, until I was overthrown. That's a whole nother story, child. That's a whole nother story. So I'm just Tremel struck a nerve in me when he came on earlier. If you do that little stupid thing, Tremel struck a nerve in me earlier because what he was talking about is true. And like he always says that like I'm the strongest person he knows because I wish y'all could see what he's doing right now. He's always says I'm the strongest person that he knows because I don't complain and blah 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 blah. That only happened because when my mom had breast cancer and she was going through what she was going through, she had a conversation with me and my sister. And she said something that was powerful to me. And she said, I never questioned God and asked him why me? Because why not me? What makes me better than anybody else? At the time she said it, it was just her talking and we were listening or whatever. But then I thought about it. And I said, people do that all the time. People always say, why me? Why me? Well, why not you? What makes you better than me that you can't go through it, but I can? Or you can't be in sorrow, but I can. And that was just powerful to me. And from that moment on, I just stopped complaining about a lot of things because it was like I was definitely a why me person. Why me? What did I do? Why am I going through this? Well, why not me? What makes me better than anybody else? What makes me, I want to believe I'm God's little sunshine. But at the same token, we all are God's little sunshine. So when Jamel says he never hears me complain, that's part of the reason why. Because at the end of the day, like him, I'm like this. When I go to the doctor and they tell me stuff, I'm like, okay, I have one of two choices. I could sit there in misery and feel sorry for myself and why me, or I can do what I'm supposed to do and make it right. And a lot of times with our people, I'm gonna say African American, Black, however you want to refer to yourself, a lot of us feel we're gonna pray about it. And because I grew up in church, I would never forget. I was at work, I couldn't breathe. That's why when it came to coronavirus and people like, oh, this, that, and this, I'm like, honey, y'all don't know what it's like to not be able to breathe. I didn't have coronavirus and I couldn't breathe because my blood level was so low because of my kidneys. Not being able to breathe is a horrible feeling. A horrible feeling because breathing is something you do without thinking about. It's just a natural thing. So now, when it started like the day before, and I didn't even tell my sister because at the time I was living with her, and she knew something was wrong because my emotion was very limited. I wasn't doing nothing. She was like, "You okay?" I said, "I'm fine." She said, "All right, if you're not okay, let me know." I said, "Okay." Got up the next day. I went to work, and I'm like, I couldn't breathe. Like I'm like trying to get air into my lungs, and I just could not breathe. So I'm at work. My phone rings. I normally wouldn't pick up my phone, but I knew it was. I don't know how I knew, but I just knew it was the doctor. And they called and they said, "Can you breathe?" And I said, and that's the first words out of the nurse's mouth. And you standing there and can't fucking breathe. You like freaking out in your mind, like, "Oh my God, what's wrong with me? Why can't I breathe?" And she was like, "Can you breathe?" And I was like, yeah." And she was like, "Whatever you're doing, you need to go to emergency room immediately, right, like right now." I said, "Okay, I'll go later." "No, no, no, no. You need to go right now." I said, "Okay, I will." We hung up, and she told me when I get there, they'll tell me what was everything because they had knew what hospital I was going to go to, whatever. So I kept working like a fool. And then I said, "You know what? If I drop dead, all they're going to do is hire somebody else. Let me go and leave and do what they told me to do." So I called my sister because she just happened to be off that day. I said, "I have to go to the emergency room. I can't breathe." She's like, "I'm coming to get you now." I said, "No, I'll take an Uber." She was like, "Stop being stubborn. I'm coming." I said, "No, get yourself together so you can just take me to the hospital because I really can't breathe." I said, "And I want to come home. I want to get a bag because I know they're going to keep me." So I did all of that. When she saw how I was breathing, like she was moving because I couldn't breathe. And I'm sitting in the car. And then I'm trying to take like little short breaths because trying to inhale was like gonna bust my chest open. We get to the hospital, and they come in the room, and they're like, "Oh, she was kind of cold with it. I ain't gonna lie. The woman was cold, and I was glad my sister left. But she was like, I gotta go and get Deja ready for school. I'm gonna come back. I said, could you bring me something to eat? I'm starving. So she said, what do you want? So I told her, I said, I love sandwiches from Quick Check. So I told her what I wanted. So she asked, she said, can he eat that? And the girl said, yeah, he can have that. So she said, all right, I'll bring it back to you. Let me just get her off to school or whatever, and I'll come back. As soon as my sister walked out of the room, it was like, um, you have end stage renal failure. So I paused for a second because I'm like, end stage means I'm about to die. I just paused. I heard what she said, but I'm end stage. Those were the only two words I heard. And I said, so you telling me I'm about to die? She was like, yeah. I said, okay. So when are you putting a port in my chest and fixing my arm so I can do dialysis? Because I had already been in the hospital and refused to do dialysis. So I kind of knew that what was what was wrong with me. But at the same token, I was hoping she didn't say I waited too long because it could have been a situation like that I had all these toxins and this was it because I'm already sitting there and I can't breathe. They had oxygen going up my nose and everything. So I'm like, oh my God. So she was like, oh, so you're going to do dialysis? Yeah, you just told me I'm dying. I'm not trying to die yet. So she was like, okay, great. That's a great decision. I'm going to make sure that I think she was either an intern or a social worker, one of the two. But she was the one, I want to say intern because social worker wouldn't break that news to you. So she was like, all right. I said, listen, I said, I'm telling you now, do the port and do my arm together while I'm here. I said, however long I have to stay. I said, I know y'all know I'll be trying to get out of here, but last time it was because it was the week before my birthday and I didn't want to be here on my birthday. I said, but now, however long it take, because I thought you leave, let me go home and come back, I might change my mind. So she said, okay, you got it. I'm gonna make sure, blah, 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 blah. She walked out of the room. See, now this is where, see, I told y'all all of that just to bring you to this point. This is the point I'm trying to make right here. When she walked out of the room, because I grew up in church and because, I know God, I know what they tell me in church. And as soon as she walked out of the room, I felt guilty. And I'm sitting there feeling guilty because I'm like, in my mind, I'm going, you don't believe God. You can't possibly believe God. If you believed God, you wouldn't have told me to put you on dialysis. Why can't God fix you and heal you? This ain't what you was told. This ain't the God you know. The God you know will fix you. The God you know, has God ever left you before? Has God ever not given you what he said he was going to give you or do for you, whatever he said he was going to do for you? And I'm sitting there going through that in my mind going, I don't believe, like, I don't have no faith. I shouldn't have did it. I should have. Then, like Tramel said, the good angel, the bad angel. The good angel said, didn't your mother just die because she sat back and believed God? And where's she now? You want to put Tracy through that again? Ain't nothing wrong with believing God. But I also believe that God helped people design a way to keep you alive when the organs that He gave you don't function properly. So now I'm sitting there going, well, this is true. I mean, God had to give somebody the knowledge to create this machine so that it could do what my body does. And, well, no, if you believe God, you wouldn't be on that machine. And I'm literally sitting there going back and forth in my mind with it. And then I just said, you know what? One, I wasn't going to do it to my sister again. I wasn't going to sit there and believe God like my mother did and die. I said, because she won't be able to handle that. Because it was only 6 years later, 5, 6 years later. It was 2016, so 6 years later. I was like, she can't handle that. Number two. I said, number one, Number one, she can't handle that. Number two, you know what? I'm going to do what needs to be done. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to believe God going to keep me through this process. That's how God going to keep me. He going to keep me through this process. He going to get me through this process. Because I don't, I hear people say the Bible don't say this, but God helps those who help themselves. So I'm helping myself by saying yes to doing something to keep me alive. And once I do that, God is going to keep me through this process. And He has. I tell people I'm on dialysis and they look at me like I'm crazy. They're like, "You on what? You don't look like you're on dialysis." I said, "I know." The first thing I ask, y'all gonna laugh at me. Because people I know that have been on dialysis, their skin has gotten really dark. So I've known people that were my complexion that turned Tramel's complexion. So the first thing I asked them after they had did everything, I said, "Okay, am I going to get extra black?" And they looking at me like I'm crazy. I said, "Well, I know people that were my complexion that were African American and they got really dark from dialysis. I just want to know. So I'm not scared and I'm not afraid. And when this stuff happened, I know that this is what's supposed to happen." And they're like, "Well, we've never seen anything like that, but if people that it happened to." I said, "Oh, okay." So I'm like, they don't know. These white people don't know, child. Black people know. I ain't changed colors. I look, I want to say normal. Most people are in a state of shock because they like, "You don't even look like what you're going through." See, that's God. That's God. God, because if I didn't do what I did, I'd be dead by now. Because that was what? In 2016, we in 2021, I wouldn't have sustained this long if I had just sat there and said, "Well, I'm believing the Lord." Now, I do believe that in the process of being on dialysis, God want to work a miracle. I'm available, Jesus. But if it don't happen, I'm still going to do what I got to do. You can still believe and still do what you got to do. Because we grew up in church, we told we need to pray, we need prayer going to fix it. And unfortunately, a lot of times prayer don't fix it. That's why a lot of us are walking around with mental problems and bad mental health because we sitting around waiting for Jesus to fix it. And Jesus already got somebody that can fix it, but you don't want to go tell them your story. You don't want to go and let them fix it for you. You want to sit there and just pray every day. And every day that you pray, you just getting crazier and crazier and crazier. And you don't have to. But that's how we taught. We taught that that's what we're supposed to do. If you don't do that, then you're not a Christian. You don't believe. You have no faith. Why? Because I don't want to sit there and just be succumbed to the things that happen to me. Because you believe, because Jesus suffered, I'm supposed to suffer too. And the Bible ain't say that. Jesus suffered for me so that I wouldn't have to suffer. Not for me to do like him and suffer and go through stuff just to go through it when I don't have to. It's one thing when you have to. If doctors, "Oh, I've never seen this before, we don't know how to treat this," then you ain't got no choice but to go through it. Like the coronavirus. We don't know what to do. So people had to sit and go through it. Some of them were able to come out of it. Some of them were not able to come out of it. There's nothing for them to do but pray and ask God to help them and fix it because there was no fix for it. There still is no fix for it. So they have no choice but to have faith that God is going to fix it. But mostly everything else out here, there's a treatment, there's a remedy. But we want to pray instead of taking that treatment or remedy and getting it done. Hey, everybody that's coming in the chat, we have to stop that because we are suffering, we are losing lives, we are losing our elders, our grandmothers, our grandfathers because of, you know, my mother was because of what Tremel said. She asked the doctor for alternative treatments, and he was like, "You're going to do what I say." Wrong answer for her. You don't tell my mother that because she's going to show you. And I ain't see the problem with me is God kept her alive for 8 years doing absolutely nothing about it. Absolutely nothing. And when she told me and my sister how she was standing in the shower and blood would just shoot out of her breast like a fountain, and we both sitting there like, girl, seriously? And you didn't think nothing was wrong with that? And she's like, nope, Jesus is gonna fix it. And I'm like, honey, that's faith of a grain of a mustard seed. Because I can tell you now, if blood shooting out of my chest, child, I'm running to the nearest emergency room just like this. Fix it. And then even after her surgery, getting it removed and stuff, she still lived, I want to say, another 4 or 5, total 8 years with all of that going on. That was God. Especially when she started telling us what was really going on. It was God that kept her alive. Because child, it was God that kept her sane. Because the stuff she was telling me, and then when my sister seen it for herself, she lost her mind. I wasn't living in the state of New Jersey. So my sister kept calling me, telling me, what was going on. And I was like, what? And then when I finally got there and was able to have a conversation with my mom, and I'm like, why would you do this? Like, because God, I thought I heard the voice of God tell me he was going to heal me. Sit still and don't do nothing. I was like, okay, I'm not going to argue with you. You come and tell me Jesus told you to stand in the middle of traffic and you get hit, I ain't going to look at you and say he didn't say, because only you know what you heard. I'm going to think it's a little crazy. But if you say Jesus told you to do it, then Jesus told you to do it. I can't. It's just rough. It's hard for some people because they think they don't have faith or they believe in. But I think your faith comes in when you take the remedy, when you take the necessary precautions, or you take the options that you are giving. That God is gonna, that everything is gonna be okay. I'm gonna do this, and I'm still gonna live a full, healthy life. Even when I was on dialysis, I was so drained going every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I would get off, and the only thing I could do was go home and lay in the bed. And just, I was so drained. Then they told me about home dialysis. Tremel went with me, and I was like, okay, let me do that. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I feel like me again. And I'm ready to live life, and I'm ready to grab the bull by the horns. Bang, I have a stroke. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, God, for real. We really doing this, God? Are we really going to do this? Like, I feel like I'm about to get my life back and I'm normal again and I can move and I'm not tired and I feel like Joe again. And stroke? Seriously? Like, really? We gonna do this right now? For real, Jesus? Like, no. And it kind of put me in a little depression because I'm ready to do me again because I feel good. And now I have the stroke. And as I got better, because I couldn't walk, and like if I was sitting down, I'd be tipping because I couldn't feel my, still can't feel my right side. But I learned how to adjust and I can maneuver now. But I kind of went into like a little state. And I would tell Tremel, I was like, I'm just never going to be normal again. And he was like, what do you mean? I said, I just give up. I'm never going to be normal. I said, I'm never going to be myself again. I said, I find a way to dialyze, and now the dialysis is perfect. It works, and I don't feel tired. But now I had a stroke, so I feel like I'm back at square one. I don't feel like me. I can't walk the way I walk. I can't move the way I move. There's things I want to do that I just have to like build up the energy to do because it just, I don't, was I depressed? No, I was just feeling down. I was just like, this just is no use. Like, I might as well just accept defeat and deal with it. And then Tramel was like, "What do you mean? What do you mean you not normal? When are you going to realize that this is your new normal? And when you start living in your new normal, you'll be fine." And I was like, "But I don't want this to be my normal. That's the problem. I don't want this to be my new normal." He's like, "Do you not understand how bad you could really be? Do you not understand that maybe you wouldn't be able to even walk right now and I could be pushing you around in a wheelchair? Do you understand that your whole face could be twisted up right now? You had a stroke for an entire week and didn't know." And I was like, "True." And even with that, people look at me and go, "You had a stroke?" And I'm like, "Yeah." It took me right on out. Couldn't walk, was leaning like this, falling. Couldn't sit up, falling to the right because I couldn't feel my right side. And now I can sit here before y'all. I can walk without a cane because at first it was with a cane. And I told him, "I'm not walking with nobody's cane. I refuse." And he said, "Papa, you got to use the cane." I said, "Nope, I'm not using the cane. I'll fall all over the ground before I walk around with a cane." And he said, "Please use the cane. Please, you're too big. If you fall, I can't pick you up." I said, "Look," because it was in January of last year. I said, "Look, I'm going to use this cane because you scared." I said, "But I'm telling you now, by my mother's birthday, I'm going to be walking normal. I am not using no cane, and that's just it. And even if I can't walk and I'm falling all over the place after my mother's birthday, I am not using a cane." So in his mind, he was kind of like, "Okay, great." But he didn't know when her birthday was. So he said, "When is your mother's birthday?" I said, "February 9th." And he was like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, her birthday February 9th." He said, "But it's like January." It was like the second week in January when they let me out of the hospital. He was like, "But that's not enough." I said, "I don't care. I'm going to be walking by her birthday, and I'm not going to be walking with no cane." And Tramel will tell you, he got so mad at me one day because he said, "Wait right here." I went down the stairs. I walked along the side of the garage in the snow up to my ankles, walked around the side of the garage, walked around the garage. And when he saw me at the car, he said, "What the hell are you doing?" I was like, "I wasn't standing there like I'm some cripple and waiting for you." And he was like, "Oh my God, what if you would have failed?" "Well, I just would have failed. I told you I'm going to be walking by my mother's birthday. I promise you by February 9th, no more canes. I don't use the cane now." And it is what it is. See, that's where the faith comes in. That's where the faith comes in. I said, "This is what's going to happen. I'm believing God that this is going to happen by then." And I persevered and pushed through it and made it happen. That's what you got to do. Not just sit back and say, now, just imagine I would have laid in the bed, just kept laying in the bed. God gonna fix it. I'm gonna be walking right by tomorrow. Tomorrow come. God gonna fix it. I'm gonna be walking right by the next day. The next day come. God gonna fix it. I'm gonna be walking right now. As much as it annoyed me to use that cane, I did. I said, "Okay, you know what, Tramella, you better stop because he gonna beat you. He got your slipper." As much as it annoyed me and Tramel didn't want me not to use the cane, I was like, "You know what? He's right. I need to use this cane because I'm gonna fall and bust my ass." Because if y'all could see the way I was walking, it was I had to lean up against the wall. Like the 2 days, the day before he took me to the hospital, because I had a headache like right here. The headache was, oh my God, I never experienced nothing like that in my life. It was, oh my God, the pain was horrible. I was just chucking down Tylenol like they were Tic Tacs. So for 2 days, the pain stayed. But meanwhile, what was really happening that Monday of New Year's, because it was last year, that Monday, I got in the car and I said, "It ain't hot in here to you?" And he was like, "No," but because my whole right side had already went numb. So I had already started having a stroke and didn't know it. So I was like, "Okay," but it never dawned on me that this side wasn't hot. So I'm like, something ain't right. So I said, the first time you just pay it. Went out to the store the next day. I said, it ain't hot, Tramel. I said, I'm so hot over here. Like when I get, it's just hot. Because like it was hot. Because it's numb. What happens is in the heat, I'll get cold. In the cold, I'll get hot. But I'm not knowing I had a stroke. I'm just knowing that when I go outside, this is all hot. I like my whole right side, face, everything is hot. But no, lies. This my right side of my face wasn't hot. My left side was hot, but everything on my right side was hot. So I'm like, okay. So this went on for the whole week. Then that Thursday is when I got the headache. It didn't go away. I'm popping Tylenol like Tic Tacs. Friday, no, Wednesday I got the headache. Thursday the headache was still there, and I'm still popping Tic Tacs, and they ain't going away. I'm like, oh my god, I never like it was non-stop. Now I should have known because I ain't never had a headache that didn't go away. Like this headache just did not go away. It would not go away. Friday, the headache goes away. So I'm like, oh, thank God. Oh, oh, it was amazing. It was like, oh, the headache is gone. Great. So I'm doing what I do Friday. Saturday, we had an interview. We had an interview for our podcast that we were doing at the time for Love and Marriage. If you go listen to the podcast with the Renties, I'm actually having a stroke while doing the podcast. So Saturday when I got up, I couldn't walk. Like I kept falling. And I'm like, what the hell? So I stand there and I fall over and I'm like, what the hell is how can I walk? So all day Saturday I'm walking, holding on to the wall because I'm falling. And I'm walking onto the wall, holding on to the wall or whatever, going to the bathroom, having to hold on to the sink because I'm about to fall over. Then I sit on the bed and I'm falling over like this. I'm like, what the hell? Trina was like, you need to go to the hospital. I'm like, no, I'm good. It'll go away. Sunday, he said, if you walking like that on Sunday, we going to the emergency room. Get up Sunday, walk. Like, work. It was worse because I couldn't even really hold myself up. He's like, we're going to emergency room. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning. We're going to emergency room. And he was shocked because I said yes. Because what he didn't realize at that point, my vision was leaving. I couldn't see. And I was at the point where I almost couldn't even move. And Jamal was like, get up, come on, go take a shower. I said, I can't. He was like, what? I said, I can't. And he was like, what do you mean you can't? I said, Jamal, I can't do it. And I'm just laying in the bed, sitting on the bed like this, holding myself up because I'm about to fall over. I said, I can't do it. He goes, gotta love my husband, gotta love him. He goes and fills up a bucket with water and some soap and a washcloth. He said, well, wash the important thing. I was like, Jamal, the only thing you need to do is put my pants on me and let's go. And I don't even know how I'm getting down these steps. So we need to figure something out. So he put my pants on me. I already had on a t-shirt. And he put my shoes on me. And I kept falling. I kept falling to the side. He was like, wow, sit up. I said, Jamal, I can't sit up. And he was like, look, for you, what do you mean you can't? I said, Jamal, I can't sit up. So he's thinking I'm passing out, but I just really couldn't sit up because I couldn't feel my right side, so I kept leaning to the side that I could feel, like kind of trying to balance myself, but I wasn't off balance because you know. So finally, I don't even know. I told, how did we get down the stairs? He went first, and I said, all right, let me hold on to you, but I'm gonna control my weight. You hold this side, because then I realized that this side something was wrong with this side. So I don't even honest to God remember how we got down the stairs. And when I got down the stairs, we had to then go down more stairs and get me to the car. So we got to the car and I'm sitting in the front seat like this. Luckily the hospital was only like 5 minutes away from the house. And he was like, come on. I said, what do you mean come on? You better go get a wheelchair because I'll be laid out. And mind you, it's snow all over the place because child up here it snows like it's Christmas land in the wintertime. So he wheels me into the hospital. As soon as he wheeled me in, they was like, "Oh God, he's having a stroke." They can look at me and tell. So they done whisked me past Jamel. Jamel running with them. It was just. Then they put me in the ambulance and whisked me off to another hospital because they said, "Oh my God, it's been too long. We don't have the necessary stuff to help him." Because this is a small. I live in a very small town. There's more chickens and cows here than people. And they whisked me off to the bigger hospital. Tramel just was like, I said, Tramel, just go home, figure it out, and just come see me or whatever. So he came home. He called our friends. They brought him up there, and it was just, it was a lot. It was really a lot. And then they looking at me, and again, see, this is where God comes in. They must have had 20 interns with the doctor. I hate when they do that. I hate learning hospitals. I hate them. They must have had 20 interns. And they are all in there in a state of shock looking at me. He just had a stroke. And they was like, yeah, in the back of his head, this part of his brain, whatever, whatever. That's the mobility part. So that's why I was thrown off of walking. And it was like, yeah, they was like, but he don't look like he had a stroke. And they was giving me all these tests. And they was like, but he's strong. And they was like, can you write your name? I said, yeah, give me a pen. And I wrote my name. And they like, he had a stroke? And they're like, yes, he had a stroke. And he had a stroke for like a whole week and didn't know it. And they like, the only thing that they knew was like they was sticking me with a pin. And first they did it on my left side. And they said it's gonna be sharp. So just so you know. So I said, okay. So they stuck me real quick. I was like, okay. They said, how did you feel? Like I said, it was very sharp. It was like a pin. They started sticking me, child, all on my right side. And it was like, is it blunt or sharp? I said blunt, blunt. And they was looking like he did have a stroke because he was sticking me with a pin. And it was just, I didn't feel the sharpness at all. It just felt like he was touching my skin. Then they was testing me for strength, and they like, well, he's strong. And I said, hold on to this. And he gave me like a thing. He said, hold it. And he pulling me up, and I'm pulling him back, and he's like, well, he don't need to be here. He can go home. They only kept me for 3 days, and it was it was it was scary because like I don't wish a stroke on nobody, child. Y'all better check your blood pressure because that's where mine came from. Y'all better check your blood pressure and make sure all of that's right because the last thing you ever want to have is a stroke. It is, child, because I've seen what it could do to people. Thank God I didn't go through it like that. But child, any little headache I get on this side of my head, I'm like, ooh, Jesus, where my blood pressure pill? I get scared because I'm like, oh no, we not going through that again. I don't know how people have 2 and 3 and 4 strokes. Like I just don't understand. Like, not that I don't understand how and why they're not doing what they're supposed to do. And if they are doing what they're supposed to do, and they just having strokes, like I feel for them because that is just like, child, it's horrible. When it was my kidneys, it was like there was nothing I could do. I didn't. They have no idea to this day why my kidneys stopped working. They have no clue. And everybody's like, "Well, you not looking for a kidney?" I said, "I mean, I'm not asking nobody for no kidney, child. That ain't who I am. I'm not. No." And they're like, "But I said, look, when it's time and God say it's time for me to get a kidney, I'm gonna get a kidney. Somebody gonna walk up and say, I want to give you a kidney, or somebody gonna say, you know what, I want to give you a kidney. Whatever, however it happens, I'm just not the person to go around. Could I have a kidney? You got two. You don't need both. Your kidney's good. Nah, that ain't who I am as a person. It just ain't who I am. And I've had people offer it to me. In the beginning, I've had friends that was like, oh, I'm gonna give you my kidney. I was like, I don't want your raggedy ass kidney. And honestly, it wasn't meant to be mean. It wasn't. It was that at that time in my life, I really didn't want to hear that because I still wanted to believe that God was going to fix it. Even though I was on dialysis, I still wanted to believe that God was going to fix it. And I say, I'm not putting nobody's foreign body parts in my body because I wasn't born with them. If something happened and I need to get a kidney, honest to God, I ain't got no problem with it. But right now, I can still function normal. I can do my diet. Now, see, when certain things start happening that's supposed to happen, I'm not claiming those things. Then and probably then I'll be sitting back going, damn, I should have took that kidney. But as of right now, those things haven't happened to me, thank God. And hopefully they won't. Hopefully they won't. And, I'm good for now. But like I said, if somebody just walk up to me or email me and say, you know what, I saw your video and I want to give you a kidney. Okay. I I'm not asking nobody for that. I'm just not that person. I'm not. If y'all notice, I don't even say if you want to donate to the McRae Kid, I do it when me and Jamel because I'm just not that person. I've never been that person. I'm not that person. Either it's gonna happen or it's not gonna happen. And that's just me. Y'all know I tell you all the time. It ain't a blessing if I have to ask you to bless me. It's a blessing. Like one day, me and Jamel was sitting home chilling. Nobody knew we didn't have nothing. We had no money, not a dime. And it was like, oh my God, another week and a half before the beginning of the month when we got a check. And we just chilling in the house. We ain't worried about it. It was just like whatever. And we chilling, and then all of a sudden his cash app went off. Bing! Somebody watched one of our videos and sent us $100 cash app. I was like, look at God. I said, see, now that is when God is doing something for you. That is when God is blessing you. When you're not even trying. We didn't even make a video that day. It was some other old video we made, and they just boom sent us $100 cash app. Somebody we didn't even know was watching us like that, and it was like, wow, wow. Now see, that's a blessing from God, not me sitting here saying, donate to the McKingz, donate to the McKingz every time we get live. Ain't nothing wrong with it because all you content creators know it costs money to do this. It does. It costs money to do this. Your electric bill, your cable bill, your, everything. You got to buy lighting. You got to have a green screen. You got to have a good computer. You got to have a good laptop. Whatever you use, you got to have a soundboard. If you really want to you got to have microphone. It costs money to do this. So I don't knock people that sit there and just constantly send me a cash app, send me this, send me that. Or like when they go on Bigo Child, because on Bigo Child, they'll kick you out the chat if you ain't sending them things so they can make their money. I think that's wrong too. But it's a lot. Hey Nene, I saw your video today because I was like, actually yesterday before you even made that video, I was looking. I was watching your video you put on Instagram, and I was like, "Where is Nene? I'm gonna have to call her."
Just Nene.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, just Nene.
You in Tramel. When I saw your Instagram, I said, "Where's Nene? She ain't put up a video." And then I saw your video this morning. Hey, Uncle Fred. Hey, Shorty's World. Some people came in here while I was still running my mouth. Hey, Miss MW40. I'm MW40, MW50. I'm sorry. Hey, y'all. Hey, everybody in the chat. I appreciate you for coming and being here with me today. See, I told you I work with what's in my spirit. Like last week, all of that was in my spirit because somebody needed to hear everything I said last week. Now, maybe Jesus didn't drop nothing in my spirit today, so I'm just piggybacking on what Tramel talked about earlier for the beginning of the morning show. I'm just piggybacking on what he said. Maybe on when's my next day? Thursday. Jesus will drop something in my heart because somebody need to hear something. Somebody need to hear something, but today I didn't get that. I'm just going back on Tramel's video. Somebody said, keep telling people how to persevere and move through it. So I'm just piggybacking on what he talked about and giving y'all my own personal experience and how I deal with it and not letting it get me down. Sometimes it will depress you, and that's fine. You can get in your feelings, but don't stay there. Don't stay there. It is kind of depressing when you done made a plan in your head and it just don't happen the way you want it to happen. But that's life. Nobody promised us. Nobody promised us a good life. Nobody promised us. I don't want to say a bed of roses because some of us don't even like roses. But nobody promised that we were going to have a good life. Nobody. I mean, we would love that. We would all love to live the life that we wanted to live, but reality says not a lot of us are doing that. Not a lot of us are doing that. So you have to live in the moment. And somebody, speaking of living in the moment, a quick story short. I met somebody on the chat line, and me and him were talking, and you know, it didn't even turn out the way it was supposed to go, or the way we both thought it was going to go. It went in a whole different direction. We just started having a deep conversation, and he was just talking to me. And he goes, and I know this was a message that I was supposed to hear because it's me. He was like, I could tell you don't live in the moment. I said, what? He said, you too busy worried about what happened before and what's going to happen next. You don't live in the moment. I said, he's like, you couldn't appreciate if a child just ran up to you and gave you a hug. You couldn't live in that moment because in your mind, what's going to happen tomorrow? And I'm like, sitting there going, okay, am I that easy to read? Because he was right. I never live in the moment. I never just took in what was there right then and there. I never did. It was always, well, what's going to happen next? Or what is it that you really want? Or why are you doing this? Or it was always a why, a what, a who, a when, or what if. It was never, let me just embrace this moment, live in it, experience it, and move on from it. Never. I never did that. Never. Now, since he said that to me and I realized that it was true, I try to live in the moment. I really, really do. It's hard for me. It's hard for me to live in the moment. I ain't even gonna lie. It's hard. It's so hard. But I try to live in the moment because when I do and I am able to do that, I enjoy myself so much more. I experience what's really happening around me and I appreciate it more. And when I don't, I guess when I live in the moment, I feel alive. I feel that's the way I could say it. I feel alive. I feel like, wow, this is great. But when I don't live in the moment, it's like I'm living. Like, okay, what's next? I did this. So what's gonna happen tomorrow? What's next? What's the new thing? What's I've always been that way. So it's just amazing to me to feel alive by living in the moment. And I never even told Tramel that. So he just found out something new.
Hey, bring me a chicken chiquita.
Hey, in Q's world, it's just amazing to live in the moment
You need to mail me one of them cookies.
as opposed to just living, letting things happen, being okay with just letting things happen. Now, Uncle Fred is 123. Now, unless you already been out and did your little doodah, you told me yesterday you was getting out early, which means you should be out right now. And I ain't telling you business. I'm helping you out. Now, if you tell me you already been out, I'm probably gonna fall out this chair. If you tell me you already been out and did your thing, I'm gonna fall out this chair. I promise you, I will. Somebody needed to hear what you said today. Uncle Fred, I'm sure. I'm sure. But last week to me was just more. I don't know. Last week it was just like sitting on me. Like this is what you need to talk about because somebody needs to really hear what you're saying right now. And I know if they go back and watch my video, even if they haven't watched them yet, something I said in those 3 videos last week, and I know even what me and Tramel said on the Sunday video, because like I said, somebody made a comment that was very powerful. I don't know if they deleted it because they were kind of venting. So they might have realized, let me not say this on a YouTube channel and deleted it. Or YouTube deleted it because of the language they used. I'm going to say language, but it was To me, it was nothing bad. But I know when I went to go to it, it says YouTube has its guidelines and standards. So I'm sure it was something that they said if they didn't erase it. But I know what we said Sunday was for somebody to hear. Um, I was able to read the message, like I said, because y'all know if somebody comment on your videos, you get an email. Plus, you see the message in the comments. So I was mad because I started reading it, and when I clicked it, it's like, "Do YouTube standards and conduct code." I was like, "Are you really serious? Did y'all really delete this?" Like, this was like one of the best comments ever, and you really like deleted her or his comment, like really. So when I got the email, I said, "Oh, I could finish reading it," and sure enough, I was able to read it in the email. It was really, really, really powerful what they said. It was shocking. It was powerful. I really want them, if they want to talk about their story, to contact Roxanne and tell their story to Roxanne because that is a whole lot. And if they don't mind sharing their story with people, Roxanne's platform is the perfect platform for them to do that on. We'll speak your truth with Roxanne. Um, and if you're watching me now and you know who you are, if you want to go to Roxanne, she has an email in her description box, and you can email her. You don't have to show your face. You can use like just a emoji or something, and you can still have a conversation with her because that was a lot. Oh my God, what you wrote was a lot. It was a whole lot, and it somebody needs to hear your story because I'm sure there are other people that went through the same exact thing. The same exact thing. A lot of times we go through things and we think we're alone and we don't tell nobody. And then, one day we decide to open up and we find out that other people might not be somebody we know, but other people have gone through the same things we've gone through. And it's a good feeling not to feel alone. Like it doesn't make it any better, especially when it's something traumatizing. But it just makes you feel like, oh my God, somebody understands how I feel. Somebody understands the feelings that I had, and somebody understands what I went through, as opposed to just telling people that haven't gone through what you went through and they sympathize with you. And you might not even be looking for that, but they're going to do it because if your story is tragic, they're going to sympathize with you, but it's different when somebody comes to you and say, I went through the same thing. Because it's like y'all connect on that level that nobody else can connect on. Because you both been through the same thing. But yes, that comment was really, really, really great. I can't tell y'all what the comment was because I got rid of the email. I delete emails because I can't stand having an email a box with thousands of emails in it. I keep the ones that are important and I just get rid of it. Normally, if it says YouTube, I just go down and delete it. The only reason why that day I didn't do it was because I had a feeling that their comment was in there and I wanted to make sure if I was able to read the whole thing. And I was. So, shout out to you that left that comment. I'm going to actually go in YouTube Studio on the computer and see if it's there for me to approve. And if it's approved, I'm going to put the comment back on the video because I don't think there's nothing wrong with the comment. The comment was very heartfelt and open and real. And I appreciate that from you guys. I appreciate when you comment and, it's heartfelt, it's real. It's if you want to vent, vent. If you want to scream, scream. Just don't scream at me. Oh, and shout out to my person that gives me a thumbs down. I appreciate you, bitch. Whoever you are. I'm sure you'll go back through the videos because I didn't get one. I didn't get one on my Saturday video yet, but I'm sure when they watch them, I will. And I'm sure they'll hit me on this one too. Um, but yeah, I appreciate all of you. And with that being said, I am going to go make me a burger because I found these burgers in Walmart. My sister called me today all excited because she was able to find them. These burgers in Walmart, it's only six in the box. They're like seven. They might as well say $8 because they $7.90 something cents. But they are so good. They're thick, and you can get some with onions in them, already cooked in. You can get the seasoned ones that's already seasoned. You ain't got to do nothing. Or you can get the ones with bacon and cheddar cheese in them. Child, the bacon and cheddar cheese ones is banging. And the seasoned ones are good as hell. I never had the ones with the onions, but my sister brought those today, so she gonna tell me how those taste when she cook them. I'm mad because she gonna get to cook hers on the grill. I ain't got a grill because I know them bacon cheese ones are good on the grill. But they are really good. So I'm about to go cook me one of those and have me some lunch, as Tramel says, some lunch. And enjoy the rest of the day with my husband. And he act right, because if he don't act right, he'll be enjoying the day by himself.
Don't be stank.
He'll be enjoying the day by himself. And as he says, me and my mangy little dog will enjoy the day with each other.
Take your little mangy little dog and go on downstairs.
We will enjoy the day with
somewhere and sit down. Don't be calling me. Don't be making no noise, a whole bunch of noise, and go.
You know what? I'm going to take a poll from y'all, because me and Tramel argue about this. Well, not really argue, but go back and forth about it. I want to get that Ring doorbell where somebody walks past your house or whatever and alerts your cell phone and you can see, whatever it is. Tramel goes, what do you need that for? Nobody comes to our house. Okay, but that don't mean I can't see the rabbits walking past the house or the people walking past the house. Or when it was 5 o'clock in the morning and he heard a slew of kids walking past the house, he could have just looked at his phone and saw who the hell it was, instead of peeking out the window like some little old lady.
I can't stand you.
Because I don't want, like, for me, I think it's a waste of time and useless that I have like a camera up. Child, I mean, this ain't the neighborhood for that, for real. But I do want the Ring doorbell. That I do want. Because, like, if I'm upstairs right now and somebody knocks on my door, I got to go all the way downstairs.
Don't nobody come here.
Because they're on the porch. And I go all the way downstairs. Then they can see me when I walk through the living room. And if I don't want to be bothered, if I don't want to be bothered. Now, if I had the Ring, I could just look at my phone and go, oh, child, whatever. And then say, get away from my door.
They can do this.
See, now you got your mailbox and thinking somebody downstairs. Ain't nobody downstairs, boy. So, I need to do a poll. Should I get the Ring doorbell or not? Because I want to do it. Because when somebody do come back and I want to say, get away from my door, and they leave. I don't want the camera because I think, like, in our neighborhood, the camera's stupid. Like, I mean, if I don't cut this grass in the backyard, I might need a camera back there, child, because there could be a puma or a person hiding out in my backyard. Because this grass back here is severe, child. But, in the front, I don't need the camera. I don't want the camera. I'd rather have the ring doorbell. But Tramel always, don't nobody come to the house. Don't nobody come visit us. Da-da-da-da. And I'm like, every time I go to buy it, I'm like, oh, all right, whatever. And I don't get it. But I want that Ring doorbell. I do. I really want that Ring doorbell.
I told you to get it if you want it.
Yeah, he gonna tell me I told you to get it if you want. After he done gave me 1,000 reasons why I don't need it. Well, if you want to get it. I'm like, okay, never mind. I won't get it. Oh, and by the way, I'm gonna buy some here. That's why he didn't want me to. That's why he didn't want me to get the doorbell.
Lies from the book of lies. Lies from the book of lies.
That's why he didn't want me to get the doorbell. But anyway, MQs, I hit you up on Instagram. You didn't see my message? But anyway, y'all, enjoy the rest of your day. Please follow us on all social media platforms. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and of course right here on YouTube. Hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to become part of the McCray-Kingz Kingdom, hit that join button and become a knight at our round table. Also, make sure you check out our boutique, the McCray-Kingz Boutique, and get you some Gear to Be Different merchandise or some McCray-Kingz merchandise. And when we go back to having coffee with the Kings in the morning, you too can have coffee with the Kings and have a mug with our faces on it. And this is the night mug. So this is one of the 4 options you have as a mug. And there will be new merchandise coming soon. So look out for that on the website. And what I was talking about before. If you want to help support the TheMKingz platform, like I said, it costs to do this. You might not think so, but it really does. So wait, over here. The Cash App is right there. TheMKingz. Any support you give us, we put back into the platform. As you see, we got a message the other day from somebody who's been watching us from day one. And they was like, oh my God, I'm so impressed with you guys. You have come a very long way. And we appreciate the compliments. If you have any show ideas, show suggestions, because now you see how we do one day each, and then Sunday we come together and recap everything we did during the week. If you have a topic for me or a topic for Tramel you want us to cover or something you want us to talk about, please feel free to email us at TheMKingz@gmail.com. Just put in the subject line for Joseph or for Tramel, because we won't know who you want to talk about it. Or if you want both of us to talk about it on Sunday, just put Sunday show in the subject line and we know to save that for Sunday. But a lot of you do hit us up with ideas and show ideas. And as you see, the person that hit us up to tell us to do a Sunday recap, we took that suggestion and you guys love it. So please keep the ideas coming. Don't be scared. Don't be shy. Send it. I always tell y'all, as long as it's done in love and peace and respectfully, that's all you're going to get back from me. So don't be scared. And if you want to book the TheMKingz for any event you may have, or you're getting married and you don't have anybody to marry you, straight or gay or lesbian, please feel free to email us at bookthemcraykings@gmail.com. We are wedding officiants. We host shows, whatever, parties, whatever you want, and we will get back to you as far as that goes. Now, I'm trying to think, is there anything else that I forgot to tell you guys about? As you see, my Fenty Beauty is still working wonderfully. Shout out to Rihanna. Thank you, girl. But anyway, y'all, please enjoy your day. Make it the best day ever. Make sure you always dare to be different, because who wants to be the same? And now we always do. Want the love, peace, sunshine, and happiness. And always remember, it's what? Team McRae.
All damn day.
Later, y'all.